After canyoneering in North Wash, we were off to the next part of our trip that was in Boulder, Utah. One good thing about the route that we were taking is that it ran right through the middle of Capitol Reef National Park. We figured that we would get out here, take a quick break and stretch our legs, and after a little bit of research, we decided that we would also do the Hickman Bridge Trail. This hike is rated as moderate, with an overall length of 1.7 miles and an elevation gain of 416 feet. It starts off with a little bit of excitement because, as you can see, you're not supposed to stop on the first 500 feet of this hike because of the possibility of falling rocks. Almost as soon as you get past the rockfall area, you are going to begin your climb. I was actually quite surprised to find out that the elevation gain of this hike is only about 400 feet because it feels like a little bit more. This is probably due to the fact that you will be knocking out this 400 feet in less than 0.8 of a mile. On the bright side, even though your legs may be burning a little bit, the scenery of this hike is really beautiful and it will help take your mind off the pain. One thing that can be tricky here is not being overwhelmed and distracted by the surroundings because you need to watch your step. A lot of the rocky stairs here are uneven or they have a lip on them that could easily trip you up, so watch out for that. At right around 0.3 of a mile, you're going to come to a fork in the trail. It's really well marked, and if you want to go to Hickman Bridge, you just want to stay left. At right around the 0.6 of a mile mark, the climb will start to level out. In fact, there is even a short downhill section. You still have some climbing to do to get to the bridge, but it's going to be at a much more gradual pace from here on out. As you hike along, be sure to keep your eyes peeled because there are several cool things to see along the way to the bridge. At this point in the hike, you should see the Fremont Pit House, which was created somewhere between 300 and 1300 AD. And there is also this really cool natural bridge known as Nels Johnson Bridge. This is a really neat photo op and it's pretty much immediately off the trail, so it's definitely worth stopping by. After spending some time checking this spot out, it was time to head on. We were only about 0.3 of a mile from Hickman Bridge. We weren't in a big hurry though. This is one of those trails where if you look around, you're sure to find something that's going to be fun to explore and look at. This trail is what is known as a lollipop loop, which means that you come in and out the same way but that there is a loop at the end. It is all well marked and easy to follow with the exception of one small section that we'll show you in just a second. And here we are at one of our first viewpoints of Hickman Bridge. As soon as the bridge came into view, we knew that it was well worth the short hike that it took to come and see it. We found a small fork in the trail that takes you to a viewpoint that gives you a much more front and center view of Hickman Bridge. This angle gave us a much better idea of the sheer size of it. The stats of Hickman Bridge are quite impressive. It has a span of 130 feet and it's 125 feet tall. One cool thing about the way that this trail is laid out is that it goes directly under the arch, so you'll be able to enjoy it from several different angles. I personally think that some of its best views are from almost underneath it. The blue sky gives it separation from its surroundings and you get to see just how thin it is in the center. After we passed underneath the arch, we came to the part of the trail that I found just a tiny bit confusing. We saw a couple of people make a right and we figured they knew what they were doing, so we followed them. But this ended up leading us to what appeared to be a dead end unless you wanted to do some serious rock scrambling. So we headed back to the bridge and went to the left, which is the right way to go. You can't always just turn around when you get to the bridge and make this an out and back hike, but we do think that it's worth finishing the loop. It is only 0.3 of a mile, which I included in the overall distance earlier, and it takes you to some really beautiful overlooks. One thing to keep in mind if you're going to attempt this hike is that unless you're under the arches or one of the small trees, there isn't a lot of shade on this trail. So if you're attempting this hike in the warmer months, be sure to bring more water than you think you need. I think that when people see that the trail is less than 2 miles, they don't think they need a lot of water, and unfortunately that's how you can get yourself in trouble. Aside from under the bridge, this spot would be an epic spot to stop for a lunch break. After leaving the overlook, you are a short 1/10 of a mile walk back to the start of the loop. It should be fairly smooth sailing from here on out. With the exception of one short climb, you are going to be going downhill for the rest of the way back to the car. You will still need to watch your step for all of the rocks and stairs, but since you're not exerting yourself as much, hopefully you'll have a chance to look around and enjoy your surroundings. Some of which include Capitol Dome, seen here, and the Bardelli'S Pyramid, which you can see right here. Both of which can of course be seen on the way to the bridge, but we just got better shots of them on the way back to the car. Luckily for us, as we made our way down the hill towards the car, the clouds started to roll in and bathe everything in a nice soft light. That gave us way better conditions for photos and videos, and it just made everything look even more like a postcard. We were tempted to run back to the bridge to see it in the soft light, but unfortunately we were out of time. This hike definitely made both of us want to see what else Capitol Reef had to offer. Unfortunately on this trip we were just passing through it and we didn't have a lot of time to spare. But I'm sure glad that we did decide to do this hike, and I highly recommend it if you're going to be in the area. But we would love to hear from our fellow adventurers. What hikes should we do the next time that we are in Capitol Reef National Park? Feel free to let us know your recommendations in the comments below. If you enjoyed this adventure, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because those are the best things that you can do to support this channel. You can follow along with all of our adventures on Instagram at thatadventurelife_official. And for all the information about this hike and other awesome adventures, head on over to thatadventurelife.com.